Alright, so that doesn't blow up. How about 2? So that doesn't explode either. Does it explode if we just try to close normally? Okay, so we fixed that crash, at least. So what is this? Alright, so alright, so host game, show loading screen, target is my game instance, create a session. What the hell is create session? Open level. Well, the create session node, the number of public connections, alright. I feel like I should be opening up this tutorial project just to screw around with it real quick. Well, let's go to our test content and make a new folder. We'll call this one multiplayer. So what, we want a game mode. Alright, so create session creates a session with a default online subsystem. Target is create session callback proxy. What is this? I want to look at this code. I feel like I'm missing something. Mark's online session is in progress. Alright, update session. Looks like there's a whole bunch of stuff that's wrapped around. Oh man, this whole online subs. This might be a lot of work. Trying to figure out exactly what all this does. Update session, game session, Steam update lobby, end session. Alright, so there is a... Well, these are just service objects. Alright, so let's see. To get the current port, you can snag it. So what is this game server port? There's a bunch of random shit in here. Game server Steam port. Initializing server, blah blah blah. Initialized. Do we ever use Steam game server init? Is that just something included inside of something else? Alright, so that's something entirely different. It's Steam. Alright, yeah, okay. Alright, so online session interface null. So this is a null subsystem. What do we got here? Create a new session, decopy game settings. Is this game released yet? Oh, it's totally it's an online game. It's done. Yeah, no, not a damn chance. Yeah, I'm working on multiplayer stuff right now. I spent the last couple hours reading documentation, and now I'm just trying to figure out all the stuff that the documentation didn't, actually specify, which is like how the fuck to actually do anything. So I'm trying to figure out the kind of how you start a multiplayer client and server, and what I need to override, and where I can do things like specifying ports and that sort of crap. So what it's looking like right now is that for server management, we've got like this online subsystem classes. There are implementations for them for different things like Steam, etc. And there is a null online subsystem which is used. Okay, so get unique player ID, get unique player nickname. So I probably need to create my own subsystem? I don't know. Owning user is this, null user. The build, get build unique ID, generates a unique ID for the build. Set up new session info. Register local players. Cannot create session already exists. Trigger create session complete. Create session. Need to advertise. If null, we need to imitate missing online system. So we advertise land match open. Allow via presence, friends only is Dashkin joinable, update land status. We have a beacon and like all the rest of this crap already set? So let's see what all this crap is telling me. Okay, so if I set the players to 2, constructor for games instance, we're making it, created play and editor, Dashkin game mode, game class, Dashkin game mode, creating audio manager, loading everything up. Okay, cool. Game mode constructor. So the game instance is created, then the game mode, and that should exist only on the server. We're loading the UI. Then we load up our stuff. Okay, here we go. You pending net game net driver. Remote address 7777. Okay, so IP connection 4. Driver pending net driver. IP driver is server no. Owner no. Alright, so okay, so we're doing other stuff here. Send connect challenge access none, trying to read get player proxy return value in player logic. Get player proxy. State change from none to in air. Place object on ground. Okay, so we picked a random connection, add client connection, notify accept connection, grasslands timestamp unet connection. So loaded packet handler, engine component factory, stateless connection handler, send challenge response, server accept. Alright, accepted, and then we make the actual, so it looks like the server and the client have their own logging stuff going on. Alright, so pending net game, I should look at some of these things. Send connection challenge, okay. So I guess what happened here is it created a second. I only see 2. looks like our audio manager and our manager stuff's loading up once. And is that all controlled by the game mode? Yeah, okay, so this is the server only loading this stuff up. And that's, like, we got everything totally screwed there. Like, so the game mode's loading up all the managers, and that's not good. Game mode constructor, we got all that. Game client on port 7777, rate 10,000. Play an editor start time, Sim Connect challenge. A separate dedicated server will be launched, otherwise the first player will act as a listen server. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can run a dedicated server here. Game viewport, add viewport content widget. Yeah. So our server is attempting to create our UI. Because we got everything all screwed up. I'm gonna need to grab something to munch on real quick, so I'll be right back. So some of the other things that I want to do is make a game mode blueprint, make a game instance blueprint to extend from our base game mode, extend from our base game instance, and we want to make a server game instance, extend from game instance, and we want to make a, so man, there's a lot of stuff I gotta do. Get this all set up the way I want it. That's what it looks like. Wow, God, after reading all that documentation, my brain is just like working in the background and trying to like digest everything. So it's it's just like, nah, I'm busy. So I'm like trying to think about stuff, and it's just like, no, I'm busy right now. Come back later. So I'm like trying to get started on stuff, and it's like, nah, resources are at capacity. So kind of things that come to mind are the game server appears to start hosting instantly with your map. Alright, so things I need to make. So I need to make a base shared game instance class. I need to make a client version of game instance. I need to make a blueprint class which extends from this. And then we need to set the default as this. We need to make a server version of the game instance. We need to make a blueprint class which extends from this. We need to set the server default as this. We need to move logic for game state into the game instance class. We need to make a blueprint which extends the game mode and set the default to this. Alright, that makes sense. Alright. I gotta do a whole bunch of stuff. I'm gonna have to change a lot of how I interact with all this trash. Is with this player controller. Do I even use this? That doesn't look like I use it at all. Alright, well let's get rid of it. Oh wait, no I do. It's empty though. Okay, okay. This is something I also need to take into account. I need to make a blueprint which extends the player controller. Alright, yeah, that makes sense. The game instance doesn't tick? Ah, son of a bitch. Alright, well the first thing is to move logic from this game state into the game instance, because that needs to happen. And let's move it into another file. Dashkin game instance. So we'll do it just as kind of a step. Alright, let's edit our header that we include in everything because we're just like that. Alright, so the game stats, is this even used anywhere? It's going to be part of the game instance, so that should stay. This is going to be as part of the game instance. Alright, so game mode needs to disappear from here. Yeah, the game mode needs to basically not be global. That's what it's looking like. Alright, so I need to get rid of all this trash. Alright, so the game state, or the game instance, has it got any tick methods? Doesn't look like it. Right, so the game instance is going to have all this stuff. Come on, scroll faster. Fucking hell. Game stats. Alright, stats needs to stay here. All this needs to leave. So we'll get this rolling around. Alright, this is gonna be a mess. Alright, so we need the HUD. We need this. Transfer it over. Get stats. Alright, so is there any sort of init that happens? Where the hell did the tick go? Yeah. Alright, so is there some sort of setup and teardown? There's a tick. There's run startup commands. There's an init. Time utils on game start. Platform. Blah. Alright, so this init should be called here. So we can remove some of these things. We don't need the game mode pointer here. This isn't dealing with threads at all, so we don't need it. Player controller don't need that. Yeah, so we don't need the platform stuff. Dashkin game manager.h. No, we don't need that. It's just looks like that. We don't need the forward declarations. Let's see, I want to tick the game instance. I'm trying to get some spawn an actor and save a reference to it in your game instance. Implement your tick functionality in that actor. I think I'll do that and begin play of custom game mode. That's stupid. That's exactly what we don't want. Fortunately, game instance does not have a tick or even a begin play. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna have to change a whole bunch of stuff, so let's just get started changing it. Hooray! Changing all the things. Very good. Well, just gonna have to noodle around with our project to set it up so it can actually be a multiplayer project, because I obviously screwed that up at the start, putting everything inside the game mode, which doesn't even frickin' exist on the client. Good times. Alright. So, man, alright. I'll just keep saying alright. No, yeah. I'm just trying to clear my mind because it's full of documentation at the moment. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get the game mode to be ticked by something every frame. I want to do it in the pre-update. So things are saying spawn an actor, which actually goes and updates this thing. So alright. I wonder what happens here if I boot this up and I don't have anything actually doing. And it's like I was already using a game instance for pretty much everything anyway. I think. See if it all blows up in a fiery mess. What is this pissed about? I guess there's no web window here. So the init function's called before we actually have anything? This is so ugly. I mean, it's really that I want the game instance to spawn these things, but I had everything set up, but I had it all set up wrong, I guess. G engine's undefined, is that what's going on? God, I hate this fucking overlay that pops up here. I guess we just have the startup commands there. I don't like it. I guess we should move the HUD to create its first window when it begins playing. So we should at least be able to play and not crash, but I don't think any of our systems are going to work. Like none of our inputs are going to work. Nothing. Well, it still worked because of other reasons, I believe. It wouldn't work if we ran a dedicated server process. What is getting pissed off here? Our graphics utils is returning null. Aha, yeah. That's true because we don't actually have our HI stuff here.